Hey everybody, welcome to another Moarhammer battle report. Got a pretty good one here for you. It's a 40k battle, 1500 points. My Nurgle demons against a Militarum Tempestus. It's a pure Militarum Tempestus force, none of this Astra Militarum bollocks. So I'll just jump straight into it. So this is the army I took. We've got a Great Unclean one, that's the Orgot's Demon Spew model in the middle there, or that big one at the front, if you don't know fancy. Then I've got two heralds, one on a palanquin, one on foot, both with a unit of 15 plague bearers, so 2 units of 15 plague bearers, both with icons, instruments, and a champion, plague bringer. And then I've got one unit of 10 plague bearers with just nothing, 3 plague drones of Nurgle with a champion and icon, and a soul grinder. Sorry, this is the big guy at the back, and then 1 heavy support demon prince, sort of behind the Great Unclean one. That's my army. This is a picture of deployments. The bottom there, I've got my a unit of 10 plague bearers in the building on the left-hand side there. In the middle, I've got the soul grinder kind of hiding out behind the building, and then I've got my 3 plague drones on the right. I did deploy first, so they're not in a great position, but they're fine. They've got limited shots at them, so that's fine. On his side over there, behind that building on the right corner, you've got 2 Tauroxes, Taurox Primes. In the building in the middle, there's 2 behind there, and the building on the left-hand side, there's 3 of them behind there. So, unfortunately, he managed to steal the initiative like a bastard. So we jump into his turn. In his Tauroxes kind of just move. So his Taurox. One of the ones on the right-hand side goes forward to get that objective. One of his objectives was objective 4, which was by my plague drones, kind of up or top left of my plague drones, and he should have. And from there, he can go flat out to get that one if he wants to. Other than that, he kind of just moves around, gets some fire arcs in to make sure he can shoot me with stuff. So we go into the shooting phase, and he does that. He flat out so he can capture this objective, giving me an early lead on objectives. Then he opens up with the 2 Tauroxes behind the building and kills a plague drone. So he managed to do 3 wounds, and that's fine. So that's all he managed to do. He's not able to do anything else. So we jump into my turn. And I don't do a whole lot of movement. My plague drones jump into that building next to the Taurox. My plan is I'm just going to charge it. I've got a fair number of attacks that aren't high strength, but I've got a Great Reaper Blade in there, so I should be able to do a little bit of damage. That's the plan, at least. So we go into shooting phase, and my Soul Grinder takes a pot shot at the Taurox and manages to plink a hull point off. Not great, but I'll take it. So we go into the combat phase, and my plague drones charge the Taurox. I do roll pretty poorly here. I'm only able to do a single hull point to it, so that's kind of disappointing, but can't win them all. So with nothing else happening, we go into his turn, and he gets some deep strikers in. So a unit of Scions with flamers arrives, and he puts credit where credit's due. He whacks it straight up here. He does, however, scatter off, but safely lands just outside the building, and that's fine with 2 flamers. He has some other deep strikes arriving as well. Behind the Taurox on the right-hand side, he gets a command squad in with 4 plasma guns, and in that bit of area terrain in the middle, he gets another command squad with 4 plasmas in as well, and that's his Warlord's unit, just to bear that in mind. Other than that, his Tauroxes kind of move around. There's a Taurox on the left-hand side that zipped all the way forward. His Taurox that my plague drones attacked last turn kind of moves around to take some shots at the Soul Grinder. And other than that, this is a bit of shimmying, really. In his shooting phase, his flamers do pretty well here. He's able to issue the twin-linked order on this unit, so the flamers are twin-linked. Burn a whole bunch of them down. I've only got my 5-up save, so he's able to kill 6 of them. This is pretty good going. And then, kills my Soul Grinder. First Taurox takes a shot, gets a penetrating hit, I fail my save, and he rolls Immobilize, so I lose a whole point and get Immobilized, which sucks in itself enough. Then the second Taurox gets a glance and a penetrate with its rocket launcher. Glance I fail to save, so I take an extra hull point. The penetrate I fail to save, and he rolls another Immobilized, so he does an additional hull point, taking all 4 hull points off, and I die. And that sucks. He's also able to, over here, kill another plague drone, which sucks. And he's able to kill a plague bearer up here as well, just to round the whole thing off. So there's only 3 left, and that's great. Fortunately, it's my turn for reserves to arrive, and I get my Demon Prince in, my Great Unclean One in, and a big unit of plague bearers with a Herald. Just as how they all arrive in Deep Strike, my Demon Prince just by the plague bearer, the plague drone even, my Great Unclean One in the centre there, and my big unit of plague bearers also in the centre there. So I'm trying to keep stuff in the centre so it's got the most scope for movement. He's got a very mobile army. If I don't go central, I'm just not going to catch him. So that's the plan at least. So we go pretty much entirely into the combat phase. My plague drone charges here and does absolutely nothing, but fortunately takes nothing back in return. My psychic phase this turn, by the way, was an absolute wash. I tried to cast 4 or 5 spells and failed every single one. Yeah! But anyway, so yeah, nothing happens there. So we go to his turn, and he boldly charges these guys forward towards the plague bearers, which I thought was pretty bold. Other than that, there's not a whole lot of movement. He kind of moves around a little bit. And that's that. But yeah, so these guys charge towards the plague bearers. His shooting does pretty much nothing. Fortunately, I was really lucky with all my saves. I had good cover. He rolled relatively poorly this round, so my Demon Prince does take a wound, but nothing else was wounded. I may have lost a plague bearer, but nothing serious. So in combat, we go over here first, and I'm able to kill 2 of him, but do take nothing back, so that's nice. He's actually doing something this time. And his command score gets completely annihilated. Surprise, surprise. So that's absolutely fine. I'm okay with that. And the bonus there is I'm able to consolidate out a good 5 inches, so I actually get every plague bearer just about out of the ruins. So that meant I wasn't going to fluff a difficult terrain test and not be able to charge anything. So I was really happy about that. So that's all the combat, so we go straight into my turn. And my second unit of plague bearers arrives here. Given that unit has 2 flamers, this is probably a bad choice. But you've got to live, got to roll with the punches sometimes. Seeing as I can't run because I'm slow and purposeful. But c'est la vie. So these guys dump down here. My Great Unclean One goes towards that Taurox. My Demon Prince goes towards the other Taurox on the sort of upper right hand side. My plague bearers in the middle there, just charge up towards the Tauroxes there, hopefully going to kill one. And that's about it. In my psychic phase, I'm able to summon a unit of plague bearers in, and that's pretty awesome. I'm quite happy about that. Then on the warp storm, I roll a 3. Randomly select a character. It happens to be this guy here. And I roll like an 18 or something like that, something stupidly high, fail my saves, and he dies like a little bitch. Oh well. So we go into combat with no shooting that I've got, and I'm not quite able to kill this Tempestus. I put him down to 1 wound, and he pisses off, but he does make it out of combat, so he does manage to break away. The Great Unclean One's able to easily flip over this Taurox and completely annihilate it. The Demon Prince over here, however, flubs and only puts 2 hull points on, so I roll really, really badly. So it's still got a hull point left, and that's shit. Over here, the plague bearers swarm around this Taurox. I didn't want to go for the 2 Tauroxes because I'm glancing on 6s. I didn't want to risk not getting either. I just want to make sure I killed 1. Especially now my Herald's not in there. If I had my Herald, I may have gone for a double charge, but this seemed to be the best choice. And out pop a bunch of Scions. There's 10 Scions in there with some hotshot volley guns and all that jazz. So there'll be a fight next turn. And so speaking of next turn, we jump straight into his turn. And the first thing that happens, a melter gun unit arrives, mishaps, so I just plonk them right here, at the top of the building. So there's not a whole lot of places where it's bad for him to be. So I thought at the very least he could be somewhere where he has to climb down. So, there's that. He also has another unit of melter gunning Scions that arrive here. So the idea here was to take out my Demon Prince, I think. The rest of his movement looks like this. His Tauroxes kind of shimmy around. The one on the sort of the left bottom left, turns to shoot the plague bearers. There's another side. Then the unit with the flamers, just by the big unit of plague bearers, just moves away from them a little bit. And we make a bit of a mistake here. So his Tempesta Prime, that was running away from the plague drone, rallies. I'm pretty sure he's on double ones to rally. I'm almost positive he didn't roll a double one. We just kind of forgot that he needed that. If he did roll a double one, my bad. But I don't think he did. But he rallies. That's fine. Not too fussed about that. In the shooting phase, these guys take a massive beating. Lose a whole bunch of plague bearers. 7 or 8 plague bearers they lose. So quite a 9 even plague bearers they lose. So quite a drubbing. But that's it's not too bad considering there were 3 Tauroxes, some Flamers, and a whole bunch of other stuff going at them. So, yeah, can't complain too much of that. These Tauroxes then open up on the Demon Prince and able to plink 2 wounds off him. Fortunately, I saved pretty much everything from the Melter Gun Scion unit, and that's great. Over here, his Scions open up at my Plague Bearers. They only manage to kill 1 or 2. They do terribly, and that's absolutely fine. So we jump straight into my turn. And there's a bit of movement. My Great and Clean one moves over to those 5 Scions with Flamers. I'm going to murder them. The unit of Plague Bearers with the Palanquin Herald move down to kill that Taurox. The Plague Bearer unit at the top middle are going to assault those Scions. And my Demon Prince is just going to keep going at that Taurox again. Plus that Plague Drone moves up into the building to take on those Melter Gun Scions. I need them dead, dead, dead. In the Psychic phase, I tried to cast something or other. I think I tried to cast Summoning again. I failed to cast it, and I perilled. So, that's the only chances of that happening, tell you what. So I take a wound, and I end up forgetting the Stream of Corruption spell, but that's fine. I'm not using that too much anyway. In the combat phase, I charge in here. I charge in here with the Grey and Clean one. I charge into the side of the Taurox here. And I charge into one Taurox with the summoned unit Plague Bearers, and the Demon Prince hits the other one. So hopefully there's going to be a load of dead Tauroxes this turn. Over here, he does actually put a wound on my Plague Drone, which kind of sucks, but I'm able to murder 4 of them back, do really, really well, so I'm happy about that. And I'm pretty sure he actually fails his morale check and gets chased down, so, ace. Over here, the Demon Prince, not being a retard this turn, flips over the Taurox. The Great and Clean one here kills 3 out of the 5 Scions, and that's fine. I'm able to explode the Taurox here, which I'm really happy about. Killing 1 Plague Bearer and 4 Scions, so that's pretty awesome. They do pass their pinning check, but they fail They took a stun result as well, and they failed their leadership test, so they are snap shooting next turn at least. And that's nice. Over here, my Plague Bearers, they just fail to glance off the Taurox. They've got it's down to 1 hull point, so a bit disappointed about that, but again, can't win them all. And I've removed quite a lot of Tauroxes this turn. Over here, these Scions didn't stand a fucking chance, just get absolutely annihilated, and I really, really, really enjoyed it. So we go to his turn, and when I said the Plague Drone chased down that other Scion, I was wrong. He just stays in combat with him, and that's fine. So equally the Scions in combat with the Great and Clean one stay there. So again, his Taurox is kind of shimmy around. The one on the right hand side there just moves away from the Plague Bearers, and the Scions that I mishapped on the top of that building moved down to take some shots at them. The Tempesta that rallied moves up to the Plague Drone with the hope of charging that and killing him, or at least helping to kill him. He's down to 1 wound now. He only needs 1 lucky roll, and that's great. And these Scions that came out of that Taurox ran up to the building. He had the objective, so capture objective 2, which those Plague Bearers are holding. So we just need to kill 3 Plague Bearers, and he'd be able to capture that objective. But I was thinking, I've got a pretty good cover save. I should be all right. Fingers crossed. In the shooting phase, his Taurox and his Scions are able to blow a good chunk of these Plague Bearers away. 8 of them, so there's only 2 of them left now, which is kind of sucky. But hey ho. Another Taurox from across the field takes a shot at the Demon Prince and is able to put 1 wound on him. I rolled the Demonic Gift +1 wound and it will not die. So that's why he's got 5 wounds. Not I'm cheating. Well, I do that too, but not here. So then we go to here, and his scions. He gets 6 wounds on the Plague Bearers, and I roll 3 1s. So that was ball ache. Oh, really disappointed that. So he was going to be able to capture that objective this turn. And it's pretty much at this point I realise there's no way I can win this in objectives. I've got about 5 objectives. He's got about 14. So the only way I'm going to be able to win this game is to table him, and that's going to be something that's going to be that I'm going to have to do. So let's try and one sign at a time. Over here, holy shit! What a hero! He throws 1 crack grenade at my Demon Prince from that Tempesta. He hits, he wounds, and I fail my 3-up save. So shit. So he dies. Fortunately, he can't charge my Plague Drone this turn, but I think he was quite happy with that little trade-off there. So, fine. Then we go to the combat phase, and my Plague Drone is able to kill that last Scion, so at least there's that. So, nothing else happening. We go to my turn, and there's a fair amount of tactical moving, just because I know I need to kill everything. So my Plague Drone hops over to try and kill that the Taurox on the right-hand side. The 2 remaining Plague Bearers from that summoned unit run up to try and kill those 5 Scions. I know that's not likely, but I just need to win combat, hope they fail their leadership test, and piss off. My Plague Bearers in the centre there, they start moving down, avoiding the difficult terrain, to try and take that on Taurox. They only need a short charge to make it into them. The Great and Clean One charges across the open field towards the other Taurox, and that's a sure thing. My Plague Bearers move up into the building to try and charge those Scions up there, and if I can make it into combat, I should be able to finish them off easily with that Herald in there. So that was the plan. I massively cheat here. I'm really sorry. I didn't do it on purpose. I don't summon very often. That's my excuse, and I'm sticking to it. I summoned a unit of Plague Bearers here. It was the Palanquin Herald that did this, and I forgot that you have to summon within 12 inches. Flat out forgot. Stupid move. Oh well. It doesn't make a difference in the game, and you'll see why. So we go to my combat phase, and my Plague Drone makes it into the Taurox, and my Plague Bearers make it into the Scions. My Plague Bearers here make it into the Scions, and my Great and Clean One makes it into the Taurox in the back there. And we start off well. The Plague Drone, flips over the Taurox, does the last hull point, and that's awesome. My 2 Plague Bearers don't take any damage to them, and they are able to kill 1 Scion back. So he makes a shaky break check, but he does make it, unfortunately, so I'm not able to chase him down or anything. Over here, I'm easily able to kill the Taurox. He's only had I think I had 3 hull points left, actually, but I still just managed to hack it apart with my Plague Swords, and that's great. This is the easy bit. He's able to flip over the Taurox, no problem. And he explodes it from play, so that's great. And here, my Herald pretty much entirely is able to hack apart the Scions, and then the Plague Bearers finish off the last 2. So that's awesome. So, here we have at the end of turn 5. All he's got left is this Tempesta that may or may not have probably rallied. And then you've got 4 Scions over here. So all I need to do is make sure it goes to turn 6, and I should be golden. But it fucking ends, doesn't it? Yeah, the game ends there. We roll for the next turn. He rolls a 2. Pretty sure he did it on purpose. And that's the end of the game. So I only score about 6 points to his 14, 15. So I do lose quite horribly. But look at the table. Not so horribly. I've got 2 units of Plague Bearers plus a Summoned unit. My Plague Drone. My Great Unclean One is still there. I've got a big chunk of board space. He's only got 5 Scions left. Unfortunately, he completed his objective. That's what the game is, and that's absolutely fine. Really, really good game. Enjoyed this a lot. From the sort of first 1 or 2 turns, I thought I was doomed. When I lost the Soul Grinder and most of that unit of Plague Bearers, I thought I'm just not going to be able to stand up to the firepower. Turns out Taurox has put out a lot of firepower, and if you can't shoot them very well, you're going to have a bad time. But after I managed to move everything to the centre and start to branch stuff out, hack those Tauroxes apart in combat, they're soft as butter, the Scions. They just don't stand up to the demons, especially with all the sort of AP2 Ether Blades I've got going on. So I just need to, if I catch them, I'm fine. But I couldn't catch them fast enough in this game. Really enjoyed it though. I'm really looking forward to a rematch. So there you go. That's the end of the game. It is a defeat for the leaders of Nurgle. But you know what? I still enjoyed it. Don't care. So as always, please feel free to subscribe, leave some feedback, like the video, or follow me on Twitter at @MoreWarGames. So thank you very much. Have a good one. And as always, stay tuned for more. Hammer.